So I'm going to call on you randomly to get your positive or negative evidence. We're going to look at it. And as JP just learned, not all evidence is what it may seem. So we're going to hopefully find some good complexity here, because arguments should be complex. You're a good arguer when you realize that both sides have really good points, and when you can see that evidence can often be misleading. All right, Marcus, give me a positive or a negative. Tell me what section. Excellent. JP, give me another one.
How many?
Just one.
One.
So please state where, who it supports, and what it is.
It's on the second page, and does research bear that out?
Okay.
And it's written by Fred Gardner, and it's most likely for the positive side.
Thank you. Continue.
It says Fred Gardner of the California Cannabis Medical Research Group says that the National Institute of Drug Abuse looks for the negative stuff on purpose and disregards anything positive about cannabis.
Ooh.
But I'm not done.
Ooh.
Oh, there's more.
But wait,
No
there's
comma,
more.
period. No comma.
Continue, sir.
And no study has proven a causal link between marijuana use and neurological disease.
All right, let's look at a few vocab words in here, because I'm guessing that there's not 100% comprehension. First of all, this word. This word has the letters of casual in it, but it's actually causal. Say causal.
Causal.
Causal is connected to, it means cause. Yes, they have found that these adolescents who smoked pot at least 4 times a week lost 8 IQ points on average. They did. But they have not proven that the pot caused the lost IQ. You see the difference? Now, I'm probably not going to go smoke pot 4 times a week and push my luck, because even though they didn't prove it causes it, it's a pretty good coincidence. But you could argue this isn't proving causality. This is not proving causality. So if you were going to argue the marijuana legalization supporting side, you could say doesn't prove causality. And nice side benefit, you would sound like a freaking boss if you said that. But again, the other side could just say, yeah, it doesn't prove causality, but come on, it's a decades-long study. It's an average of 8 IQ points. It's not a causal proof, but it's pretty bad. So that's good. Now, what's the other thing, though, JP? Yes, there's no causal link, but you said before that sentence, you think that the previous sentence is also evidence on the pro-legalization side. Why?
Because it tells you what the drug abuse,
National Institute on Drug Abuse?
Yes. It says that they look for the negative stuff in what they try to find, and then they disregard anything positive that could lead to more research and what they could possibly bring out more.
Exactly, guys. Look at the name of this organization. National Institute on Drug Abuse. Just by that name, do you predict that they're probably trying to make drugs legal or show how drugs are bad? Definitely. That's clearly from their name, that's their purpose. And then this guy, Fred Gardner, says he kind of gives light to that. According to him, these guys only look for the negatives. For example, when they did this study over decades, studying these kids who used marijuana 4 times a week or more, they probably weren't asking the kids like positive questions. Like, for example, how happy are you? Or how stressed out are you? Okay? Because they probably could have done a study, if you wanted to support marijuana, maybe you could do a stress study over decades and prove, well, stress levels were lower in the group that did marijuana a lot. I don't know if they would be, but they might, and that could be seen as positive evidence. So these guys are doing studies to try to see the negative effects of pot. It doesn't necessarily mean that they're bad studies, though. It just means, according to Fred, that there's more to it than just that. Where's Fred from, though? Let's be fair. What group does Fred represent?
Pro-legalization.
He is basically a pro-legalizer, guys. So, do you think he's going to go around saying good things about his opponents and how they're so awesome and fair? Probably not. So there's a lot of he said, she said stuff going on here, which we're sophisticated when we can see that. I want one more piece of evidence before we put this away for the day. And that is going to fall to the one, the only, Dalen Draper. Yes, folks.
Louder, please.
9% of all users become dependent in marijuana. So roughly 1 in 10. And Dalen, what side is that going to support? Positive for what? Use one of the words up here. So about 9% of pot users become dependent on it, which means they're addicted to it. Against, the prohibitionists, the legalization protesters, that side is going to say, whoa, this is bad. Because that's not good. You don't want 1 in 10 people in your country to be addicted to something. Addiction is not good for society. We can agree on that. So that would be bad evidence for that. One vocab word I want to hit on. What's this word? Someone pronounce that? Gabe? Schizophrenia. Yeah, what is schizophrenia? Kind of a very intense neurological disease. Austin?
It causes things such as dementia, and it's like you don't know where your mind state is at. You can have multiple personalities.
Yeah.
Mood swings.
Yeah.
Desire to do something that you don't have purpose with.
Yeah. So just anytime they're talking about a neurological disease, it's affecting your mind or your nervous system, and schizophrenia would be a very intense one, like absolutely debilitating. There is medicine to help the effects of schizophrenia, but there's not really a cure. So I've got a cousin with schizophrenia, and that's an intense disability. So more than twice as likely to develop schizophrenia than non-pot smokers. That's kind of freaky. All right, there was a lot of evidence in other places. For the sake of time, we're going to move on for today. Before we do, I want you to take your T-chart from yesterday. I want you to add at least one thing from this article on either the pro or negative side, and just make sure you can find it. So an effective label might be, marijuana bad. I'm just abbreviating the title of the article. Marijuana bad, page 2. Just make sure you leave some breadcrumbs so you can find it later. Questions on that? Once you got that done, you can store these safely away. We're going to look at them again tomorrow.